Hi, it's Yvonne Dalorto at Pulpo. And as you know, I put great emphasis on when children are learning, more so in the early years, how important it is to have a connection to the wider curriculum so that children are constantly making connections to what they learn and what they know. And later on, this all comes together magnificently, certainly with their literacy skills and their knowledge about the world. So I am extremely lucky that a great friend of mine called Lane Mathias has generously helped me out by giving me a little video about some basic artwork. And the idea behind this is that children need some direction. Although we want creativity to just be spontaneous with children, there's often that they have to learn about the skills and strategies on what to do. So you modeling some simple activities and simple guidelines will also help parents be able to do this at home, because the biggest fear for parents is, what if I make a mistake? What if I look silly? And the mess. But apart from that, being able to model it online, and this is our biggest issue right now, is how can we do an art activity online? If we give the basic structure, show how to do it, then the children will learn how to improve on this with developing skills and strategies, and then start experimenting with their own, I don't know, curiosity with colours and tones and shapes and forms. So before we go too far, what I'd like to do with you is just sit back and enjoy some arts of work from Lane Mathias, who is based in Ipswich in the UK, and her work is absolutely beautiful. So let's just breathe and enjoy this next moment of looking at her work before we continue. Isn't that just beautiful? And what I'd like to just show you now, and this is something that you could stop and have a deeper look at if you pause the video, is, as you see, we've got the learning and we've got the extended learning and all the concepts, and it could have got bigger and bigger. What I try to do is put it to creativity, also music. As you saw there, the complement of music was a great help, and also not only with the painting but also drawing using a crayon or pencils, and movement, because incorporating movement along with creativity is important because of that expression that we have with our bodies, communication. So this is something that you can stop and pause and look at. And also here are a lot of links that could be put into your planning, especially for our online parallel planning, as we never know if we're going to go back online or keep on in class. And a lot of these also cover the early years foundation stage concepts and cognitive development milestones. But a lot of this also fits in so well with the wider curriculum, with math concepts, developing critical thinking, also personal and social and emotional development, making choices, what you like and what you don't like, knowledge and understanding of the world, drawing about animals. And maybe you've never seen this animal in real life, but children still are gaining their knowledge through their interactions with media and also books they see and digital information. Music, hugely important, because music and language, hearing about beats, hearing grammatical structures, and very briefly, even with the gross motor skill movement. The gross motor skill movement with the shoulders aids what's happening with the fine motor skill development. So as you can see, we've got a huge amount of information here that can be distilled down into what you need to do for your planning or concepts you need to be covering. So I'm just going to give you some little snapshots of what Lane is doing in the final video. As you can see here, I'm not going to go through everything we just saw on the last slide, but you can see we're looking at shape and form, revising shapes, triangles, circles, and also that pencil control, space and size. Often children, when they first start using large pieces of paper, they draw right in the middle, tiny, tiny, because they got to get used to how to use space and how to extend an idea. And of course, the pencil control is really important for later on when they're writing, letter formation. The next bit, few ideas that I've pulled out, creativity. What are we adding here? This is not life art where you're copying something you can see. This is a creative process where the child can be adding all the things that they know could possibly be around a beach. They may never have been to a beach, but the visual cues and memories cues they have are all there. Clouds, sun, boat, and they could add fish, they could add so much more. And it's the confidence of being able to add to what they've done. And that also is a progressive skill when they get better with their fine motor skill development and knowledge. And here we can see expressing ideas. Oh, we've got to put a bird in. Recording experiences. We could add things that they know. And of course, children feel very comfortable being able to explore knowledge that they have, that foundation level, and being able to build on that. And it can also extend a thought, idea, and topic that's used in your classroom or maybe the class pupil book that the children is using. Again, it's a good way to assess what children have remembered. Now, the experimenting with colour is a great area because we all see things in a different way. And what I see as a dark blue may not be that intense to another person. It's our own personal interpretation. And children may want to experiment with that, and it's good to let it go. Not always do we have a blue sky. We can have a green sky, a yellow sky. We can have a red sky. So again, using their knowledge of what they know and what they have seen. Again, continuing with hand and eye coordination and exploring media. And of course, you could use a combination of media, crayons, watercolors, pencils, but all of this is still getting the child to make that connection of what they are thinking and what they are putting on paper, a visual interpretation, which will then go on to writing stories where we have that interpretation in words. And more than anything, the focus, concentration. Of course, young children may do something in 5 minutes and that's it. But then when their skills develop, they will have the persistence to continue, to modify, to go back. And that's the skills and strategies we want the children to acquire. The very strong literacy links, again, what we see, what we hear, what we say, we remember this. So every time we introduce vocabulary, we tend to do it with a visual cue, a memory trigger. And this will help not only with children introducing maybe new vocabulary that they've learned, but also consolidating vocabulary that they know, and then it can move on. As you can see here, we're layering the information on, and that's exactly the same as writing a story, getting it all together in a sequence. So there's quite a lot of things a child can do doing a simple painting activity. And as you've seen with Lane Mathias' work, it's absolutely fluid and beautiful. The colours, the styles she uses, great scope, and it's a visual feast. So she has done something very simple and basic for you, the teacher or the parent, to be able to do something similar online to get your child being creative. And also it's a huge assessment tool, because even if you're given a structured painting lesson where you're asking them to put specific things, it's using language, memory recall, and also their interpretation of what they have learned. So we're going to sit back now and watch this little video of Lane Mathias doing a very simple drawing that you may be able to use within your classes. Here you go.
Hello, my name's Lane and I'm going to paint a picture of the seaside. And I've got my pencil and my paintbrush, and I've got my set of paints, although you could use crayons or felt tip pens, and I've got some water. And I'm going to start by drawing some outlines. with my pencil. And I'm going to draw, first of all, a nice big boat. The boat will have a sail, and the sail is like a triangle. It has a little cabin and some windows. I'm going to do 4 windows. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in the sky, I'll draw some clouds. 1 cloud, 2 clouds, and a big sun at the end of the day. And I'm also going to draw the beach. And on the beach, a seagull with his wing and his long tail and his eye. Now I'm going to make my brush very wet, and first of all I'm going to paint the colour of the sea. Now I'm using for the sea a dark green, but you could use blue, you can use any colours you like. And I'm using plenty of water and spreading the paint across the page. Nice and loosely. Round the boat. Now while that's drying, I'll paint the sky. Now I'm going to use a nice blue for the sky. Again, plenty of water. It's a nice bright day. Lots of water, and just move the paint across the page. See how it flows? Now the beach, I'm going to paint a nice light brown for the sand. So this is a light brown. This one, and it's almost yellow and almost brown, something in between. And now, what about this? This is the sail for the boat. I'm going to paint it a nice bright green. go. Nice big green triangle. Now for the boat, I think I'm going to paint it red, this one. This is a darker red, this is a light red, but I'm going to use this red. Got lots of paint on my brush. Oh, that's a nice red. Nice red for the boat on the sea. I'm just going to wipe that just a little bit with my tissue because I can always paint it again afterwards. Clean my brush. Now, the bird, the seagull, I'm going to paint him grey. There. Nice grey colour. There's his wing. Put some marks on him. Now, this big sun, I think it has to be yellow. So I'm going to use the light yellow and just put the sun in. There we go. Big sun. Now these windows, I'm going to use the black, just a little bit of black, and I'm going to paint in the windows. I wonder who's in there. I'm also going to paint the eye of the seagull. There we go. And also, we'll paint his beak because he has a yellow beak and he has yellow legs. There, his legs. Now I'm just going to paint another layer on the sea to make it darker. And maybe some more blue in the sky. Around the clouds. Maybe just a little bit of grey in the clouds. Yeah. just like fluffy clouds. And some rays of the sun. There we go. There, so a simple painting of the seaside, which you can try to do too. Thank you.
Gosh, wasn't that peaceful, just watching that develop? But as you saw, she was constantly speaking all the way through, naming the colours, naming the shapes, even making suggestions like, I wonder who could be in the boat. There's so much you could link to other curriculum topics. I mean, the clouds could be, well, why they're grey? You know, is it going to rain? About the sun, also about animals by the seashore. You can really extend this out. But what she's done is this basic idea, basic model of what you can be doing with the children. Now, also, this is, as I said, a great second language assessment tool where you're getting the children to name the colours, and also probably putting them in the context. I have red, I have yellow. You can imagine how much you can extend this out. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video that Lane put together for you. And as you can see, it's all about pace, letting the child work at a pace. And you may be able to do something very similar with an overhead, with your mobile and an arm, and just work with the child online, or even pre-record it and talk and pause as you're going through it. So I hope that you'll join myself and Lane again for another topic painting, and we can do one that is perhaps a little bit more nearer to a theme in a book, maybe gardens, flowers, food, something like that. But thank you for joining us, and well, it's great to share ideas, and thank you again, Lane Mathias. So bye for now.